What is going on, YouTube? It is Primitive here, and today I'm going to be bringing you a match from the most recent RMC locals. This is going to be between Lilithmon on the left, and then on the right we're going to be having LordKnightmon. So this is a matchup that I don't believe I've covered on the channel yet, so this will be a very interesting one, especially because LordKnightmon on the right is a deck that we haven't really been seeing too often. It did get a top 8 at the US Nationals, which did give it some great representation, but other than that, there hasn't been too much LordKnightmon going around after the BT5 ended, as where Lilithmon has been very prominent in the metagame, getting multiple top cuts at the US Nationals as well as other national championships, winning a national championship, and just really skyrocketing its popularity and really showing the power of the deck. So getting on into it, we got a Knightmon in raising for the LordKnightmon player with that Patamon inheritable underneath, and then on the other side we got a Lady Devimon going for the Lilithmon player. Lady Devimon is obviously a very key card for the Lilithmon because they are able to now draw as well as get some cards in the trash. We can see that Kinkaku promote in trash, which is going to be very big because you can bring that back later with Zwart or even the Underworld's Call. And if you're playing the Titamon, you can bring it back with the Titamon, but I don't believe there is any Titamons in this list, so we're just going to be looking more towards the Zwarts as well as the Underworld's Call. But now going back into the Lilithmon player, we got a TK from the Lord Knight, and that means they aren't going to be able to choke them anymore, but now they have pretty good memory. They have 3 memory to work with this turn. Gonna go ahead and just swing in with the Lady Devi, getting the Kinkaku inheritable going off, and then gonna live in the security check because Knightmon just being 1k too little, which is pretty big because that means that the LordKnightmon player is now gonna have to swing over this if they want to get rid of it. They will probably be going into LordKnightmon, I would assume, or some Mega because they have the 3 memory this turn. I don't think the Lilithmon player is going to mind too much if the Lady Devi goes down, just because they did swing with it and it could have went down in the check because they'll get more cards in the trash. You want to have the 10 in trash, so when you go into Lilith, you're going to be able to activate the effect. Also going to need to get some Jack Raids going on because you're probably going to want those to extend your plays later, but Lord Knight's going to go ahead and swing over the Lady Devi, and then Bushi's going to go ahead and swing, actually living the check at the 3k, so that's pretty big because that's another Digimon on board that could swing in next turn if the Lilith player isn't able to get over it. And to get over it, they're probably going to have to either get the Kinkaku inheritable back with a promote on top of it, or they're going to have to just swing over the Bushi, and swinging over would leave it suspended, meaning that LordKnightmon would be able to swing over it and the Bushi would survive. But we're actually going to see the Rebellionmon come out. The Rebellionmon effect will activate, and now the LordKnightmon isn't very safe swinging in because it does have Blocker and Retaliate, and you don't really want to lose your Starmons for free. So we're going to go ahead and play Starmons to give -4, and then swing with LordKnightmon and drop the Knightmon to give another 4k to the Rebellionmon before the block would happen, and going to take it down, so relatively safe there. Unfortunately for the LordKnightmon player, Jack Raid is going to come out of security and end the turn, meaning you're not going to be able to get that attack in with the Bushi, which I guess isn't that big of a deal. It's 1 less attack. You still have 5 Digimon to your opponent's 2 checks next turn, and LordKnightmon can drop another Digimon, potentially being another Bushi. And it looks like the opponent's just looking to see what of the promote package they have in their trash, missing the Kinkaku itself to be able to make it so that you can get the effect to be able to gain a memory. So as of right now, Underworld's Call is not going to be live unless you want to pop the Glaive memory boost to gain that memory, so that way you can play it for 4, but the Kinkaku bringing back isn't going to be able to gain the memory, put you at 0. So let's see what they go for. Got the Analog coming in to be able to search, going into the Labramon, and you're going to have to clear something off the board or else you're just going to lose next turn unless you have double Jack Raid and security, because there just are way too many Digimon on the board for people to swing in. The Takumi would slow down the rookies, except for the fact that you can just swing in with the Megas and Ultimates first, not have to pay any memory costs, and then just swing in. So we're actually going to hit the Jack Raid. So like I said, if the second Jack Raid is in there, it will end the turn and it'll pass back. But even if you do have the 3rd Jack Raid in security, I don't think it's going to matter. You pass turn back and you play a couple cards and it goes back to your opponent's turn and they have all these Digimon on the board. Gonna Digivolve into the Pitomon, making so that if you do hit the Jack Raid, you at least get the blocker up, but not gonna hit it, and they're just gonna be able to swing in. So very dominant from the LordKnightmon player game 1. Really got ahead early, and it didn't seem like the Lilithmon player was really able to get anything going. So gonna start turn 1 with the purple memory boost with the Labramon in the back. Looks like they grabbed the Kinkaku and put the promote to the bottom, so wanting to get that inheritable going and get that in the trash, assuming that they probably play multiple of the promotes in the deck, so you're going to be able to get more of those going anyway, so not that big of a deal. But With the Kinkaku inheritable, you are going to be able to shut down some of the stuff that the LordKnightmon player was going last turn. They did have a lot of rookies on board, so if you're able to swing in and at least pop some stuff, you can slow down the aggression if they do go on a higher aggression pattern like they did game 1. But as we can see right now, they are missing a rookie, hard playing the 8mon turn 1, and then they are going to Blinding Ray up so that they can play the Rise. Not going to be able to Digiburst here because you don't have enough sources, but you luckily at least get into the Bushi, so that way you can get a rookie in raising. And then the TK is going to come out, making it so that you don't get choked, as well as going to be able to search out the Pulsemon, which will definitely be helpful later. Going to be able to cycle, and they didn't have a rookie for a while, so going to be able to grab another one, so that way when they promote next turn, the following turn they will be able to hatch again and be guaranteed to have a rookie if they don't play the Pulsemon. If they draw another rookie, they could definitely get away with playing that Pulsemon out just to cycle. But we're going to see the Lady Devi come out, going to be able to draw with the Digivolution, draw with the effect, and draw with the Takumi, and then going to be able to trash 2 cards. Neither of the cards in there are really going to be powering up the promote package, but getting cards in the trash is going to be very important, so that way you can get the 10 in trash for Lilith and start to get the loop going. You have a white tamer on board, so the MDF will be live, so you just got to get it going. Actually just going to go straight into the Lilithmon here. Not going to be able to activate the effect to get stuff back in trash, but you can, if it lives and comes back to your turn, you'll be able to play an option card, gain the 2 memory from the Lilithmon, and then you also have the Lady Devi and the Kinkakumon inheritables, which are going to be great removal going forward if your opponent starts to go wide. But something to note here is, despite all the draw that happened with that Lady Devi turn, there is no rookie to go on top of this Sumamon in the back. That might not be the biggest deal, but it is going to set you back a little bit. The LordKnightmon player had a little bit of a rough start, and you are going to be able to capitalize on top of that, but making it so that you don't have a rookie to go into the raising here is going to be very unfortunate, because now you're kind of 1 turn behind on your own aggression. But at least the Analog Boy is going to be able to come out, get a couple more cards in trash, and be able to search out that Gabumon, so that way you can get a rookie in raising next turn. But we're going to swing out. Sukuyamon's going to go ahead and swing in, give minus 2k with the Rise, and then give minus 3k to the Security Digimon, so it's pretty safe of hitting anything in Security outside of Zwart, I do believe. And the Lilithmon is matching it at 11k, and so if it wanted to attack into the Sukuyamon, it would have to trade. You would be able to get some effects going off to be able to pop stuff off, but I doubt it's going to be worth it for you to be able to trade your Lilithmon into the Sukuyamon. But we're actually going to see the MDF come out, so going to be able to gain some memory and then also go into Zwart. So let's see what they choose to bring out. We actually do see the Titamon there. I did mention earlier that Titamon was a potential. I didn't think they were actually playing it in this list, but we can see it here. Deciding to go with the Rebelli and the Ginkaku. So the Rebelli as an ultimate is fine, because when you swing here, you're going to bring back your Lilith, and you can put the Lilith back on top of the Rebelli. So we're going to swing over, and we're going to pop the Pitto, but they're going to block with the other one. And so now we're kind of chilling. Sukuyamon's still going to be there, but it's not really that scary. You're going to promote your Gabumon next turn and get security attack -3, but versus this list, I don't think it matters as much. When you have 2 Rebellimons out right now, that means you're going to be able to go into Lilithmon pretty much guaranteed next turn no matter what. And so having the security attack -3 on the Gabumon isn't going to matter too much, because most of your aggression is going to come from the Lilithmon into Zwart plays, as well as the Ginkaku promote plays. So going to put the opponent to 3 since they're going to go there anyway, and now you're going to get a memory tamer, so you're not going to be able to choke. Going to actually grab the Titamon, so going to have the option to be able to go into Titamon next turn if you want, and be able to get a bunch of checks. No Black War Growlmon in this list, so not going to be able to do the normal Titamon combo of being able to swing and then unsuspend and swing some more for multiple checks, but actually just going to go straight into the Valder, which is going to be able to pop these 2, and then you'll be able to gain a memory off of the Analog, since one of them did have a source underneath it. And the Valder arm is pretty good, being able to clear the things off the board, because like I said, you were likely going to be able to go into Lilithmon this turn, but that was shut down from the Valder arm. So now you're not in as great of a position for the Lilithmon player. They're not necessarily in a bad position in any way, but they were looking in a very dominant spot, and the LordKnightmon player was falling behind a little bit towards this game, but the Valder arm coming out is going to be pretty decent at slowing them down. You can go ahead and swing this turn and try to make some things happen, because you don't have the security attack -3 anymore since the Sukuyamon was digivolved on top of, but I'm not sure if you're going to want to be able to swing in this turn, or if you want to just progress the stack a little bit more. So as we're going to see the Lady Devi coming out once again, going to be able to draw a lot of cards, be able to trash a couple, going to put the Kinkaku and the Underworld's Call underneath there. So I wonder how many Underworld's Call are played in this list, or if they just plan to be able to bring it back with the Lilithmon, but I do believe the Underworld's Call is a pretty decent card in this matchup, so that way you can get that final check with the promote. And you still have the glaive memory, or the purple memory boost in the back, so you can gain that extra memory. Haven't seen them pop it off yet, so I'm assuming they want it for later in the game, or they just haven't found a time to really make the memory curve fill out with the boost. And the Rise Greymon's actually going to just take out the Gazimon right away, so did play it out, and it would have been nice to shut off the Blinding Ray and the Patamon inheritables that we know are going on in this deck, but just going out for free with the Rise Greymon. Gonna be able to get the check-in into the Lilith. We know that there is a Lilith in hand, so that's not that big of a deal because they're gonna have access to at least one no matter what. And we also know the Titamon was grabbed, and so they could go in that as well. The Pitamon's gonna come out. I wonder if they're gonna Digivolve on top of it. They are. I wasn't sure if they wanted to keep the blocker or not, but the security attack -3 on the Lady Devi is gonna come in now, and that means they're not gonna be able to go in for crazy checks, but they are gonna be able to go into Lilith, grab the Underworld's Call and the Jack Raid. So it looks like they were planning to bring the Underworld's Call back. And so now there's 4 checks. I wonder how they are planning to play out this turn, because you aren't necessarily falling behind as far as security checks because you have 3 to your opponent's 2 checks, but you only have the Lilith right now. You don't have a rookie in raising, which could put you behind, and your opponent still has 4 security checks they got to go through. Zwart coming out and actually milling 2 promotes in there, so instead of going with double promote, they're just going to go with 1 Gazi and 1 promote. They're going to want to make it so they shut off the Blinding Ray, it looks like, and the Gazimon will actually make it so that the Zwart can swing over the Valder arm, use the effect to pop the Angelmon, and then your opponent's not going to be able to gain the memory because of the Gazimon, so actually going to be way stronger than going for the second promote there. You are running pretty low on deck, but that doesn't matter because you MDF'd, which means Zwart's going to go onto the bottom, and now you're going to be able to be pretty decently far ahead on just the general game plan. Your opponent has nothing in raising to promote next turn. They have no Digimon on board. You're going to, no matter what, have this Gazimon and this promote on board, and then next turn you're probably going to be able to build back up and potentially go in for another MDF depending on how many they play. Gonna play the Gabumon out instead of putting it in raising, and also playing the Gazimon instead of putting it in raising, which is very interesting to me. Didn't want to draw the card even though the MDF was gonna put the Zwart to the bottom, but regardless, I don't think it matters too much because now your opponent has 3 checks. You have 4 Digimon on board. You have the Underworld's Call in hand that we saw grabbed from the Lilith loop, or from the Lilithmon, and that means that you're going to be able to swing in, and then if all these checks go in, and even if something does go down, you're going to be able to bring out that promote. So we're going to have to see if the LordKnightmon player has any response to this. There's a lot going on, but I just don't really think there's too much that you can do here just because there's going to be so many attacks coming in. Can play the Starmons, which is going to be able to pop one of the rookies on board. Gonna go ahead and pop one of the Gazimon there, but like I said, it's probably not going to matter. You're gonna be able to swing in here. You can pop one of the rookies, even though that won't matter, but you can swing the 3 checks that are in right now. I don't think there's anything in the LordKnightmon list that is a security trigger that can delete Digimon, so you'll be able to swing in and then play the Underworld's Call to bring out the Ginkaku promote. Like I said, you can always just pop the purple memory boost if you need the memory, which I think you're going to have to pop it, because even if you gain the memory right here to go to 4, you're still gonna have to pay 2 memory to attack with your rookies, with the Takumi making them pay 1 each. So you'll swing in, you'll go to 3. They're going to swing in right now. Hits TK, can only reveal the top card. It is a yellow card, so they will recover instead of just burning themselves. Swinging again, going down to 0, and then you can pop the purple memory boost, go to 4, and play the Underworld's Call that we know is in there. And of course, the Ginkaku promote is in there like we know, so they just revealed it right there, and the game is over. The Ginkaku swings in. So going into game 3, LordKnightmon's going to start it off. Got the Patamon inheritable going on in the raising, which is going to be nice because you'll be able to gain memory off of that. There is a lot of DP reduction in this list, of course, one of the LordKnightmon specials, so going to be able to get good value off of that. And then actually playing the yellow memory boost, a good search right here so you can find the things that you need as well as extra memory later. And we're going to see a purple memory boost coming out on the other end. Gonna have to put a Zwart to the bottom, which is decently unfortunate, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. As we saw with the last game, they can really get to the bottom of their deck pretty quickly, and there's other Zwarts in the list for them to use, so they'll probably cycle back into that Zwart whenever they need it in the late game. Went ahead and grabbed the Gabumon instead of the promote there, just because it looks like they have one in hand as well, so it doesn't really matter. You're going to be able to get that Gabumon in raising next time you hatch, and that's such a good inheritable to be able to start filling up your trash and start to be able to cycle, and that's something that's going to be really key to this deck. As we've seen, you want that 10 in trash so that way you can get your effects going. And of course, the promote package being in the trash is a part of your combo, so getting the cards up to 10 in trash helps with the loop, the promote helps with the promote package, and so trashing is just going to be very valuable here, so I do agree with grabbing the Gabumon there. Going to go with the Lady Devi effect now. This time you don't have the Takumi to get that extra draw, but it's no big deal, you're still getting decent cycle. Going to trash Rebellymon again. I feel like it's been pretty consistent that they have been trashing the Rebellymon with the Lady Devi, so potentially just a tech card in the list for other matchups like Jessmon and whatnot, and something that's not as useful in this matchup, so they just prioritize ditching it for other combo pieces in hand. So there's that Gabumon that we talked about in raising. You could start to build on top of that, so that way next turn you could potentially promote it and make it an ultimate, or you could go into a Mega on top of your Lady Devi, just so that way it potentially doesn't get its DP deleted by something like 2 Knightmons being played, one for free off the Lord Knight and then potentially a hard play, or maybe even just playing a Lord Knight and then hard playing a Starmons will also get it done, but can't really play around that right now. Gonna play out the Analog Boy, and that's gonna make it so that you can search, get some more cards in trash, but most importantly, if this Lady Devimon does go down, you will be able to get an extra memory, and every memory is gonna count in these type of decks, because when you're trying to combo out, you want to be able to extend your turns as much as possible. But let's go ahead and see what LordKnightmon player wants to do here. Like I said, swinging, dropping a Knightmon and then a Starmons would be able to clear the Lady Devi. You could also play the Lord Knight and then hard drop another Knightmon, just so that way you can get that 8k DP, but actually going with the Bushi, so no DP reduction right there, but gonna get the extra swing. The Underworld's Call is going to come out. I think the only target is that Kinkaku, so that's fair. You're going to be able to get that out for free, potentially put an ultimate on top of that without having to Digivolve the champion on top of your rookie, so that's pretty decent value. I really love Underworld's Call in these purple decks. It's just so powerful. Even coming out of security, it's a card that can just really help you, especially if you have like blockers in your list. And with that Underworld's Call in the trash, you do have a target for that Lady Lilithmon. You'll be able to grab the Underworld's Call as well as the Jack Raid. Don't have the cards in trash to be able to activate that effect yet, but whenever you do have that in there to be able to grab it. We're actually going to see the Lilith come out here. Not going to be able to get the effect to bring back option cards, but it doesn't matter too much because we're going to be able to MDF, gain 2 memory anyway. Draw 1, mill 3. See what they want to bring back here. I would potentially see a Lady Devi coming back. I could see that being a pick, so that way you could put the Lilithmon that you're about to grab back from the Swart on top of it next turn and get that cycle going again, and then also grabbing the Gazimon, a card that they have been cycling a lot in this matchup. Going to be able to shut off that Patamon inheritable that we see, as well as any potential blinding rays in the hand, and if they go into the Valderarm, we did see that take it out. I do believe when the MDF was played that the Lady Devi inheritable should have popped one of these rookies that are on board, but looks like they did miss that effect, but should have had this Pulsemon gone as well, but I don't think it's going to impact the game too much right now, just because the LordKnightmon player is so incredibly far behind right now that I don't actually even know what they're supposed to do here. Lilith gonna go ahead and just play out another Gazimon, so if they do delete one of the Gazimons with something like a Starmons, they will still have the memory blocker on board. No blinding rays gonna be coming out, or at least blinding rays that are gonna be able to gain memory, and just 5 Digimon on board, gonna be able to go into a potential another Lilith next turn, and then that could make it so that you could just combo off again if you have another MDF into Zwart. See what we want to do here. Want to Blinding Ray, but can't Blinding Ray with the Gazi. Let's see if they catch it. With 2 memory blockers on the board, it's going to be kind of hard to miss. They did hit it right there, and that's it. You play the Blinding Ray, the Gazi's on board, you trash your security, the information was already revealed, so it's not really going to be possible to bring it back without giving your opponent too much information. So sometimes you just have to realize what's on the board. The Blinding Ray is going to get shut off, and if you activate the Blinding Ray, you're still going to have to trash your security, and the card's just dead in the trash now. But now going to go into the Lilith, able to pop up, going to be able to bring back the Underworld's Call and the Jack Raid. So now let's see what we're going to do here. Going to be able to pop up. You could play the Jack Raid. I'm assuming they're still at 10 cards or more in trash. Even if they're not, you can still gain the 2 memory off of the Lilithmon natural effect and start to pop off from there. But actually just going to Digivolve into the Promote on top of the Kinkaku for 1, putting the LordKnightmon player at 1. They do have 2 attacks on the board, but one of them is going to cost 2 memory to attack. And even if you send both of these checks in, your opponent's still going to have 1 check, and they're going to have 5 Digimon on board to your 4 security with the potential to start to swing in. Actually, I'm sorry, 6 Digimon with the 1 in raising to your 4 security. So even if you clear 1 off of the board, they're still going to have multiple Digimon on board with the potential to also go into Underworld's Call to be able to just bring back the Promote. So As far as I can tell, as long as you have a promote in the trash, then you should be good to go, because you'll be able to swing all the checks in to get all the security off now. The Unimon will be able to block one, making it that you would need the promote in trash to be able to play the Underworld's Call and win, but we do see that the promote is right there. They pulled it out of the trash just to see what cards of the package they have in there. All you need is the promote. The rest of the cards to be able to gain the memory and all that isn't going to matter too much. Actually going to go into the Kinkaku, so I'm not sure what they're seeing that I am not seeing. But they're just going to go ahead and start to build up. I think you're in a position where if you swing and gain some memory, then you're going to be okay anyway. So you're going to be able to swing, trash a card off the Kinkaku, and then the Kinkaku is going to go ahead and give you a memory. And now you're at 4. You still are able to swing 3 checks. One of them is going to get blocked, but the Underworld's Call should be able to come in and just go for game. So we're going to swing in with the Gazimon here, thinking about if they want to block or if they just want to let it go through. They do let it go through, and it's going to go down to the Pitomon. And then going to swing in with the Lilith. Gonna go with the Angelmon. They swing, they block here, and then you go ahead and you play the Underworld's Call, like I said, play the promote, and you go in for a game. So not sure if they just didn't realize it at first, or if they had a different idea, or if there was something I was missing, but I'm pretty sure you had pretty solidified win on that turn for the Lilithmon no matter what. But with that being said, if you enjoyed, be sure to like and subscribe, because I'm going to be bringing you even more content. We are going to be having BT7 coming up here very shortly in the next week or two, and that's going to make it so that I can bring you all that new content with the new decks, new matches, and all that. So if that's something that you're interested in, be sure to subscribe to the channel so you can get notified. Or if you want some more Digimon content, be sure to check out my Twitch. The link will be in the description. I have been live streaming pretty consistently. I did take a little bit of a break the past week, but I am getting back into it. I will be having a consistent streaming schedule, so I hope to see you all there. But with that being said, I hope you have a great day. Peace out.